Hey Durinos, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Dunlop Trailmax Mission tyres. Let's have a look. Come on! So the last 3 years I've been doing between 14 and 18,000 miles a year. So I've been fitting up until last year 3 sets, then kind of going on to a 4th set of tyres in 12 months. It's so expensive, man, so expensive. So what I've got for you today is it's just a quick comparison and just to show you what I've had out of what I've used. So first off, what came stock on my first of all, wrecking the house. Let's do that again. Dickhead. Okay, compose myself. So first off, were stock on my CB500X were the Dunlop Trailmax Mixtour tyres. I kind of, man, they picked something to be something that they're definitely not. A little bit of, gravel trail or something, you'd be absolutely fine. But these lasted 3,500 miles. Now, this front tyre has got 3 mil of tread left in it, so we can get shot of that. That would jeez, oh man, we can get shot of that. So that would have lasted a little bit longer. The rear, however, 3,500 miles, and you can probably see that there. Just so again, depending on riding style, the weight of your bike, the load that you're carrying, the weather, your tyre pressures, the ambient temperature, etc. Tyre wear's gonna differ for everyone, but these were kind of and then 3,500 miles were just no way. Feck man, I'd be 4, maybe even 5 sets a year at 300 quid a set. Just absolute no. They didn't have any bother with them. They just weren't anything special. Yeah, so before that I was running Michelin Road 6s. Now these are off the chart fantastic. I got 5,000 miles at a set of these. This front tyre still has 3 mil left on it, 6.5 mil when I first got it. The rear was the exact same because it had 6.5 mil on it as well, and then down to 3 mil. These also squared off, but these tyres, if you want to be aggressive in the cold and the wet and just the shittiest conditions, they are absolutely, I don't even know what this is made of, man. It's incredible. Yeah, I could have probably got to the wear bar here. I probably could have got another 800 miles out of these, 500 miles out of these. But if you're just riding on the road, these aren't for, gravel trails. But if you're only riding on the road, these are epic. Absolutely, I can't sing their praises enough. They are absolutely incredible. Right, then we get to the crux of it. This is the Dunlop Trailmax Mission. Now this is the front. Now I've put 12,500 miles on these tyres. These originally had, the front had 8 mil, 7.9 mil on them when they were brand new. And this front tyre, I made a note of it actually. This front tyre has got nearly 4 mil left on it. But the thing with these is they were starting to get little bits of fatigue at the sides of the knobbles, little cracks and stuff on the front. Now I don't know if it was down to tyre pressures because my bike from the manufacturer is 29 front, 41 rear. But these tyres are so absolutely solid that those pressures were absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This tyre didn't deform, conform to anything. They were absolutely shocking. So I ended up dropping the pressures to 25 on the front and 30 on the rear. Now the rear, 12,500 miles. These again, this had 11 mil I measured on the rear as a new tyre, and these I've got what did I mark these down at? About 4.5, 5 mil left, so there's still life left in these tyres. Now the only thing about these tyres, not the only thing, but for a kind of more kind of 50-50 tyre, these in the wet on the tarmac were absolutely fine, never had any bother. About 40-50 mile an hour they start to sing, which is actually quite nice and you get used to it. But in the wet, if you push these really hard on the tarmac, which again, if it's in the wet, you're thinking, well, why would I do that? So just don't do that. These were fantastic. So they're failing. Off-road, so I rode these off-road in the dry, and in the wet, they're shocking off-road. They're better on tarmac in the wet than they are off-road. I think I'd read light mud, but just, I mean, light mud just must mean a skitter in the mud, just a thin bit of mud on the road or on a trail or something, because they're absolutely fucking useless in the mud. In the dry, rocks again, because the carcass, they are absolutely solid. This is a heavy duty tyre. And the rocks, they're pretty epic. And so I could ride 300 miles on the road, sit in the motorway at 70 mile an hour, ride off-road all day, and then do the same trip back again on this one tyre. Goldilocks tyre? I don't think so, purely because of the wet weather stuff. So wet grass, off camber, they are fucking lethal. So I wouldn't bother. But to say, you know, it's a mission tyre, so you want to go do road stuff and off-road stuff, if you just, even if you just do road stuff, 12,500 miles and still tons of tread left on this rear. So I changed them because of this, the where I am in the season, the just end of the autumn coming into winter time. I want a tyre to go all the way through, so I would end up having to change this anyway. But I've kept it so it can go back on if I desire. But I've switched out to the Anless Capra X's, so we'll need to see. I've measured them up. We'll need to see how they go. They're another rock solid tyre, more aggressive. I've already tried them in the wet, and they're better off road in the wet, and they're just way better than this. Speaking of wet in the off road, then it starts to rain. So 12,500 miles, and absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. This tyre, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know what it's made of. You know, so you can do soft shoulder compound, you can do harder compound in the centre tread for longevity and stuff, but I don't know. Kryptonite maybe, absolutely no idea. 12,500 miles. After what I've been running previously, I just didn't think it was possible to get a tyre that would run for that length of time. It was literally Goldilocks stuff. I was like, absolutely no way. But it turns out, it can be done. So if you want a tyre for your adventure bike, where you can keep it in the bag, that you've got the opportunity to ride off-road if you want, even if you don't touch off-road, this is still a fantastic option. I paid 306 quid for the pair, and if I was paying, and it did the same mileage as the other two tyres, plus another set, 3 sets of the other tyres, which would have been nearly, it would have been £1,000. The Road 6s aren't cheap. So it would have been £1,000 worth of tyres, 300 quid, and it did the same distance as 3 other sets of tyres. And against the Road 6, it's not really comparable because it's a completely different animal. But on the road, they shouldn't be, in the dry, they shouldn't be as grippy as they are. I've pushed them out twice, coming kind of hot into the roundabout, and then I was just on the backside, just tipping in, and then maybe being on the throttle a little bit too early, had a little bit of the back end step out, and that again in the wet, and that was like any tyre would do that if you gas it and the bike's not upright. So I don't know what to say. They've just been absolutely phenomenal. So get yourself a set of Trailmax Missions from Dunlop. Just the distance was just mind-blowing. 12,500 miles. And again, coming from 5,000 kind of max, so 2.5 times, plus with what's left in that, it would probably gone 3 times the distance. So for the money, even if you're not going to ride off-road, it's an exceptional tyre that'll see you right. Trailmax Missions. Get yourself a set. Do yourself a favour. Thanks, guys. If you enjoyed that, you could do one of these if you want to see more from me, if you banged your head or something like that. Or give us 3 thumbs up, and I will catch you in the next video. More riding, I promise, soon. Just trying to diversify a little bit with tyres and some camping gear and stuff. So tell me if you like that or not. If you don't, I won't bother. I did an unboxing once and nobody watched it, so I'm not doing any more of them. Yeah, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Cheers. Take care. Ciao.